What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Oranos. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is Joe. It's finals season. It's finals fever. Everyone's got that excitement in the air. Both of these players have fought through a pool of only the best Age of Mythology players around. Both of them have taken out literally the best competition that is currently playing Age of Mythology, bar maybe like one or two players who didn't participate in this tournament. And therefore, it can be said that they are the top two players right now, undisputably. And we'll see how this is all going to go. We've got Joe's Isis here. Finals, best of 9. Best of 9 in the finals, where the tournament rules state that you can only play, well, you can only win with one god. And you have to change the god. So if you win with Isis, if Joe wins this game, he's not going to be able to use Isis again. If Ulysses wins this game, he's not going to be able to use Oranos again. It means there is a fairly serious... there is a fairly serious amount of strategy pre-game that these players have got to do in order to find an advantage and make sure that they're going to win. So in the end, best of 9 means 5 wins that are needed to actually come out ahead. And if 5 wins are needed, that means that a player needs to play 5 separate gods. Joe will have to play his Isis, his Ra, his Set, and 2 other gods. He is an Egyptian main. Ulysses, on the other hand, we have seen him favor the Greek gods and Oranos, but we don't actually know what his 5th god is going to be. I'll tell you guys from watching Ulysses' streams that Ulysses is a random god titan of a player. He is an incredibly strong random god player, and he can play all of the gods to a top level if he so chooses. And we'll see how this is all going to go as a result. Monument to the Villagers coming up now for Joe as well. We've got a relic uncovered up at the top corner of the map, the Tail of Cerberus, giving the extra or the reduction of 25% myth unit special attack recharge time. Onwards and upwards. Villagers coming now over onto this location over here. We're just going to continue eating this. There's not a whole bunch of hunt on this map. I mean, there's boars and there's rhino. And I guess there are a juicy amount of rhinos to boot. As we are seeing Joe being very, very cheeky. He loves to do this. He loves to ghost build granaries in order to make the rhino very confused about what it needs to do, which does allow the villagers to take a little bit less damage in the early game. But it does, I mean, if you focus more on animation canceling than doing this, you can potentially kill the rhino faster. But it's kind of semantics at that point as to what you value, the villager HP or the actual... Or the actual rhino getting killed a little bit faster. So we do see a temple coming up for Joe as well. Going up a little bit slow now. I would be surprised if Joe does anything different than what he has been doing with Isis, which has been every single time he's picked Isis in this tournament, he has gone for a 1 town center Isis fast heroic. And that's it. And we'll see if he's going to go for it in this game. He's got a handful of pigs in his base, so he's going to want to gather as much of this food outside of his base as he possibly can. Ulysses is going to want to push off this food as fast as he can, and we'll see if that's going to become an issue for Joe or not, as he is going to be advancing. We're seeing Prometheus coming through for Ulysses. There's no real surprises where that's concerned. We've got ourselves a back town center. We've got 2 very close quartered town centers in the middle of the map. And I love this map. I think this map is great. This map is kind of a tribute to what Midgard could be, in that it is essentially Midgard, except with the water being replaced by trees, which I love. It's slow. It closes the map in, and it really, really makes for a beautiful design here of aggression and fun things to be had. as the Rhino here getting finished up very fast. 13 villagers over here already. The Oracles over here are going to be checking this one out. Ulysses hits the next age. He's going to be dropping his counter barracks, his military barracks. The Promethean Offspring going to be moving forward here in this game to try and harass Joe's villagers just a little bit, but I imagine as soon as Joe's finished on this Rhino, he's going to be walking all the way back to his home base, and he's going to be jumping onto these pigs. There's no real reason to jump onto the berry bushes with no towers next to them. Go to the pigs and get a very, very clean. He's going onto berries, but he's going to be able to get an incredibly clean heroic age here. Armory coming up already with the monument, and there, I mean, he could do a range of different things in the heroic age, but the almost standard build for, as a villager kind of gets stuck here, the standard build for Isis is, generally speaking, is going to be priest siege style build. I wonder if this villager is going to pop out after he finishes on the food here, or if he is doomed to wait for the berry. Oh no, that's sad state of affairs, but this berry could get eaten very, very quickly, or gathered very, very quickly. As more units coming forward, we've got ourselves the hero Terma, the hero Momillo over here as well, going to be swinging around the map looking for something to target and finish off here, as this berry bush just about to be finished off, and that villager here with 15 food is going to be let out of his self-made trap, as with old games comes old responsibility. Oh, can he move? Oh, is he still stuck? Don't tell me he's still stuck. Oh, he's not. Haha! Yes! He's alive, as we see pickaxe coming through for Joe. And the second monument coming up for Joe as well. This does indicate that something a little bit different might happen here for Joe, but it also just might mean that we might see Scorpion Men getting mixed in with the Priest Siege, which is also a very, very valid and strong way to play. As the armory just about to finish, there's not quite enough gold here for Joe just yet, as the Sphinx is roaming around the map. 5.3 speed, not really enough to get all too much done against the brutality of the Oranos speedy heroes here. 5.28 speed on that Momillo hero. Not quite enough to catch up to the Sphinx, but enough to deter the Sphinx from doing anything. And then the hero Terma comes in at 5.83 speed, so it can chase down the Sphinx and get some good damage done, as we do see the prosperity getting used on this position. The priest over here going to try and deter this wall from getting broken down, but it is going down pretty quickly here, as Joe is doing his darndest to get the resources to advance to the next stage. He's cut villages here. He's going to be advancing through Nephthys. I would be surprised if we don't see a temple getting dropped, but what I want to see from Joe is the sneakiest temple you've ever seen. So a second temple, like right in the base here, right out of line of sight, just to make it a little bit confusing as to what Joe is doing. And I mean, Ulysses can probably expect something here, as we do see a second town center coming up. So that's a bit of a surprise. It's a back town center. The gold mine villages are already over on this position, so that's a decent idea, as well as Ulysses could roam over here onto this gold mine if his home gold mine gets kind of taken out, as another priest does come through to snipe down that Promethean. The wall going to be kept alive here, as this Momillo here just holding on to the bridle of Pegasus, not really wanting to take it into his temple just yet, but we will be seeing a second temple coming up on the back. There's no real rush to make the priests here, because you want to wait on Spirit of Mart nonetheless. Spirit of Mart being the technology which makes your priests cheaper, and he's going to need that one in this game. We're also seeing copper shields coming through for Joe, which is an interesting technology to grab. If you are going to grab an armory technology, I do think that the idea of getting like copper shields, not copper shields, but copper mail makes a lot of sense here, because the units that actually kill the priests are going to be the Momillo and such. Even if you do see that the priest has only got 15% pierce armor, that's from having copper shields. Getting the mail armor means that if your opponent makes Contarius, your priest is going to survive just a little bit longer, get a little bit more damage dealt, and live a little bit more of the dream. Whereas copper shields doesn't really help all too much against those Terma, one would say, because there's not a whole lot of damage to be reduced, if you know what I mean. As the priests are now going to start piling out of these temples here. The Sphinx Scorpion Men swinging around the top to try and get onto the back of these units, as the gold mine is going to be the first target here of Ulysses right now. Joe does have a fairly decent defense to these units that are coming into his base. He does lose one villager, as the Sphinx and the Scorpion Man coming in to get just a little bit extra damage onto these units, getting maybe a kill there with poison, as he lives with 0 HP. He does not live. He goes down. Husbandry coming through for Ulysses as well. Do we see an armory coming up just yet? No, not just yet. So Ulysses is going to attempt to hold in the classical age. This is not something that we see a whole lot of from Oranos players. Normally the Oranos player goes for a quick heroic into Contarius to defend against the Priest Siege, but that's not what we're seeing here from Ulysses. And really what Joe needs to be careful of is, well, he needs to be thinking about second gold mine, because if he doesn't get that second gold mine, things get a little bit awkward for him, because he's going to be moving across the map wanting to cast Ancestor's Eclipse on his opponent, whereas Ulysses is going to want to sit on this gold mine and just say, get out of here and stay out of here in a big way, as we do see a marker getting dropped here for by Joe, which is smart. He can sell wood and he can get more gold to produce more priests or get that Migdol up. The units pushing forward going to be taking down a Terma or two, as now we are going to be seeing the army retreating away from Ulysses, from this gold mine, which I think is a bit of a mistake. He probably could have stayed here, but it does look like the villagers are going to go forward instead of backward, if that makes any sense, onto this position to drop a Migdol down, as Joe is slowly moving forward. We've got ourselves the medium Murmillo. There's no upgrades on them besides medium infantry, as the Pegasus is going to be coming out as well. The unit's going to be sneaking around, taking down these straggler priests, as Joe is going to be retreating his own priests back here to try and get in. We do see the Scorpion Man, the Sphinx, getting some good damage done onto this position over here, as Shockwave gets used, Valor gets used. The Scorpion Man, Sphinx are going to try and retreat away, but we will be seeing one potentially getting taken down here, as Joe's getting a little bit annoyed at the, well, I would be, at the really cheeky gameplay from Ulysses, sniping units that are moving forward, getting a couple of praise kills here and there. But now Ulysses misstepping just a little bit, going to be losing a lot of units here, as the Pharaoh, the first unit to get targeted down. You don't want to lose this Pharaoh. That's a huge amount of DPS that is down the drain right there, as the Priest going to be doing a ton of damage onto this position. The Siege Towers moving forward to try and tank just a little bit. Ulysses at 125 population right now, as he's pushing in, and I think that Joe might have to use Ancestor's Eclipse here. He's not using it, and his priests are under a lot of pressure right now, as the Scorpion Man trying to get back in onto this position to take down some of these melee units. Obviously, if he picks off the melee units, he's in a really good spot. The hero Terma getting targeted down first. But right now, Ulysses is going to be able to push off the gold, and Joe has got not enough units here to defend his gold mine right now, and this one might be over right here and now, ladies and gentlemen, as Ancestor's Eclipse finally getting dropped by Joe. But is it? I mean, the units can just retreat here, and Ulysses has really shown a very interesting take on denying the Priest Siege of Isis here in this game, as the units retreating back. The Ancestors is going to get a couple of kills, obviously, because they are speedy little boys at 6.00 speed here, chasing down those Terma as best as they can. But now Ulysses can just run around the map, and Joe has to rebuild his army. He doesn't have that much army to build here. He's making priests, he's getting Scorpion Men out as he can afford them, making Axemen as well to try and deal with those Murmillo. He's going to be making a push in onto this gold mine, which is a really smart push, but there is still 635 gold left on that back gold mine there, as the Ancestors do get a bit of a surround onto the army, getting a little bit of damage there, as those units are going to be retreating back. We are going to be seeing the Scorpion Men going to be wandering in onto this position as well to try and get some extra kills. But now the Ancestors is down. We've got 98 population right now, or 100 population for Joe, versus Ulysses 121 population. And, I mean, Joe does have a fairly simple win condition here in sight, which is push off this gold mine. But he needs to be able to pick off an entire Murmillo army here. Now, the Axemen are in, and those are going to be a real big help here. And also sniping down those Hero Momillo first and Hero Terma allows the Scorpion Men to get a whole bunch extra damage than they otherwise would. But the Momillo are on top of the Priest here, getting a crazy amount of damage done, and it doesn't look like Joe is able to hold on here right now, as the Momillo are just overpowering Joe's army just way too easily, and Joe's not able to make any ground in this game. Do we see a town center coming up anytime soon? We see the boars getting grabbed over here. There's no Migdol stronghold getting dropped. More units coming in onto this position, but it's 87 pop to 116 pop, 45 villages to 25 villages. Ulysses' macro is on point in this game. His micro is on point. His decision making is on point here. As the Momillo turn around, we see the Scorpion Man coming in onto this position, going to start trying to take down more units here, as we've got a Hero Terma getting converted to get some big damage down onto this Scorpion Man. As the Scorpion Man does get pulled back here, the Terma gets immediately targeted down, as that's obviously the best, most high quality unit to kill here to allow the Scorpion Man to do as much damage as it possibly can. The Pharaoh's back into the game here, so he's going to be getting some good damage done, but we do see that Ulysses is able to snipe that one down fairly quick here. Joe does have himself 800 gold in the bank right now, but what is he going to do with it is the big question, as Ulysses pushes through incredibly hard, taking down a handful more priests. The gold mine going to get pushed off very, very soon. We've got a Pegasus on this gold mine. We've got ourselves an Oracle over here, to scout all of Joe's base incredibly nicely. Ulysses able to continue pushing forward. We've got farms all over the place right now for Ulysses as the army is pushing in, and Joe has to tap out here in a fairly short and decisive game from Ulysses, getting a very, very nice first win to kick this series off, this finals off. Kind of makes the Ancestors Eclipse Priest Siege push look incredibly bad here, but I do wonder what would have been different had Joe just decided, well, better cast Ancestors Eclipse on this position first and then push in, instead of trying to fight first and then not. Because, like, at the very least, he had like 2 siege towers out, had a handful of priests, the army would retreat, and he could just march forward into the base, and it might take him, say, 20 seconds to get from here to here, but he would be at least in the base at that point with about 20 to 30 seconds left of Ancestors Eclipse in order to get some damage, in order to mass out his priests some more, maybe even throw down a Migdol on this position here. Some walls wouldn't have gone astray as well on this location here to block the kind of raid on the reinforcements, maybe dropping some more forward temples by Joe to get some more priests out to make sure he's spending all that gold in order to get full population would have been an idea as well. But I think everything really just comes down to this this tab here, which is units killed, units lost is equal, but military count just super high for Ulysses. He's got so many resources more than Joe. Look at that difference there, 20,000 resources to 15,000, which does say a lot. That is a lot more than a Oranos would normally have, I would assume, against an Egyptian. I'm not sure exactly what went wrong here for Joe. Did he not get Shaft Mine? No, he has Shaft Mine, so he has all the technologies he needs, but just not. It's just the game just didn't go Joe's way here. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.